everybody. I'm Audrey Moore with the Audrey Helps Actors podcast, and this is episode 122. If you're feeling blue, I hope to give you a nice little new point of view on your career and what you're doing in this crazy show business zoo. I like rhyming. All right, leveling up with Robyn Keller. Today we have Robyn Keller. Robyn is an actress based in Los Angeles, known for her vibrant personality, her ability to wear a crown like the best of them, and she has just like a ton of passion for theater and TV and film, and you know, she just needs a little stability. She's looking for some stability. Today we discuss the importance of financial stability and confidence in pursuing acting and how it's not one size fits all. Strategies for managing multiple jobs while pursuing an acting career. Is it a good strategy? We'll find out. And the best ways to network. You guys are so scared of networking. Why? Just go to things and try to be lovely. Just go to things. All right, the review baby had only one meal this week, and that meal was from Paige Siegel. Paige, I just want to thank you for being the person that gave sustenance to this itty bitty adorable review baby. You know, your reviews make me feel like somebody knocked on my door and was like, Audrey, is it your birthday this week? And I was like, it is. And then behind them was like a party of fun. Just like, it's your birthday. That is the feeling in my heart when you leave me a review. Don't you want my heart to feel like, I want to make people feel that way. If it were me, I would leave you a review. I'm just letting you know. I would. So please take 20 seconds to make me feel like that and feed the review baby by going to ratethispodcast.com/Audrey. That's ratethispodcast.com/Audrey. This week's podcast is brought to you by Casting Networks. Go to castingNetworks.com/Audrey and use promo code AudreyCN for $65 off an annual premium membership. That's AudreyCN for Casting Networks, not AudreyCN for Crunch Nachos. I love nachos. I love like bowling alley or like roller ring nachos. Even as I'm doing it, you can't see me, but I'm doing like a happy nacho roller ring, little kind of shimmy dance in front of the mic. So go ahead and Audrey CN for your $65 off an annual premium membership. I hope you are on your way to set, because you booked it.
Audrey helps actors because they don't know anything.
Hi, everybody. I'm Audrey Moore with the Audrey Helps Actors podcast, and today we have
Robyn Keller.
Yay, Robyn! Hi.
Hi.
Yay! I'm so glad you're here.
Me too. I'm excited.
What a delight! So you and I met during the meetup this year.
Yes.
For Self-Tape May.
Yes.
You came crown.
I did have a
crown on.
I did have a crown.
And
I should have come with it today.
Oh, I mean, it's okay. You know, we'll do it in post.
Okay,
we'll
great.
Give you a crown in post. Okay, great. And you were coming, I don't know how often you had listened to the podcast before or if you knew anything about it, but you were such a delight. And I'm looking for people who I'm less familiar with to have on the podcast and chat with. And you were just so charming. So I was like, hey girl, hey, do you want to come on the podcast? And you were like, I do.
I'm like, I love to talk. I will give me a mic and set me up.
And
Let's
we're
go.
ready to go. So just tell everyone as we start a little bit about your landscape. Okay. I know that you went to school here in Los Angeles for acting.
Yes.
And you've been out here for a bit of time. And tell everybody, you know, are you union? Do you audition? If you audition, what kinds of things? Are you repped? Like, just sort of the general landscape.
Yeah, so I have one of the infamous BFAs in acting. As you said, I went to school out here.
and I am non-union.
Okay.
I do have a commercial
pre-member.
Yes, I'm a pre-SAG member. And I have a commercial agent.
Yay.
Who I love. I just signed with them in December and I'm obsessed.
Right.
And I feel like it's been a slow month. May was very, very slow.
Always true.
To the point of like, I'm a new listener to the podcast. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do the self-tape May. I've been getting so many auditions this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to, like, half of them are just going to be auditions I'm already doing. I got 2 auditions all May, and one of them was just like a still photo. So,
awesome.
we are making it work. So mostly commercial is the auditioning that I'm doing right now.
Great. And so I just wanted to let you know, for everyone listening and for yourself, that's why I do it in May.
Yes.
Is because May is always and has always been the slowest month.
Yeah.
And there used to be pilot season, and then that would everything would film and then wrap by May.
Got it.
And then films, when they existed, used to film in the summer, like June, July,
Yeah.
August. Now it's May and other months,
Yeah.
but definitely still May. And
Yeah.
and also part of that is commercials are really dead.
Yes.
Because if you think about what people are selling in May, and are people watching television with ad-supported content, and everyone's like really busy, and you're sort of selling like vacations.
Yes,
maybe?
yeah, to get
And,
ready
like,
for summer.
Right.
Yeah.
And even those, like, you're filming those really like in February, March to be airing by May, right?
Yeah.
And so you really don't start commercials until like back to school starts to begin.
Yeah.
And also, just so you know, it's 2024, and I don't know if you've heard, but we're in an election year.
What?
What? Doomsday prep. And so
Yes.
we're here, and what that means is there was like an Olympics bump for commercials, because they film commercials obviously for the Olympics, but there's actually just like the ad space is bought out by campaigns.
Got it.
So while that ad space used to be like a Walmart commercial and a Chevy commercial, now it's going to be not just presidential elections, but the local elections as well.
Yes.
And so if you are a commercial actor, always during the election, it's always like a little bit slow as well.
Now I know.
I mean,
look at us learning today.
Audrey helps actors, even though
I will
don't
head right
know
on
anything.
out. Thank you.
Okay, great. So I wanted to have you on and discuss sort of any ways that I can help you. You came to the meetup. I know that you are a newer listener, and it says on your profiles that you are an actress / stage manager. So I'd love to hear like a little bit more about that. Yes. And I asked you if you had any questions for me today to write some down. But first of all, I'd love to talk to you about like your goals.
Yeah.
Like as an actor in Los Angeles, what are your goals? Because I don't like to assume that anyone's goals are the same.
Yeah.
And I guess that means, what kind of career are you interested in? Is exciting to you? Feels feasible even? Like everyone has different spaces that they're in with that. So what is that for you?
The ever elusive question. I feel like it changes all the time. Yeah. But it's always just, I feel like the baseline is just, I want to be working, whatever that is. In theater, I got my start in theater. I love theater. Whenever I work on a show, acting or stage managing, I just love like the community, the vibes. And I know I'm in LA, so theater is kind of...
I don't know. I think theater
I don't know what's going on, but...
Great.
But I mean, like goal-wise, I would love to be a series regular on a sitcom.
Like a multicam or a single cam?
I think a multicam probably, but shows that I love that it would be like a dream, which again, I know this is not LA, but like currently Abbott Elementary.
Right. Abbott Elementary
is just
here.
Does it? Yeah. Oh, they just switched to the WB lot.
No, they've always been in LA.
Oh.
Yeah.
They really tricked me. I was like, they are definitely filming on the East Coast.
Definitely not. Definitely on the soundstage.
That is fair. That is fair. Great. But yeah, like something like Abbott Elementary. I mean, this is past, but you know, Schitt's Creek. Those kinds of things are just like give my soul so much joy when I watch them. Yeah. So just to be on something like that gives that to other people, like that's, I think, the goal. That's the art, right?
Yeah. And so tell me, in terms of that goal, how's that going?
I'm not on Abbott Elementary, so not great at the moment.
And how far away does it feel?
It feels like a million miles away.
Great.
Like it feels like, how do we even, I feel like it's been like so I like went to school the first 3.5 years that I was out here.
Yes.
And then got out of school, was auditioning, was doing short films, did some theater. And then, life happens and you're like, I got to focus on my money job a little bit because we got to pay these bills.
Right.
So you do that and then you kind of get comfortable with that. And you're like, wow, things are okay. Now I can go back to focusing on my acting. And then the pandemic happened.
Sure enough.
And I was like, whoa, this is super fun. Love this so much. But yeah, so then the pandemic happened and then it was kind of, we creeped out of that.
Yeah.
And I had a different agent up until December of last year.
Okay.
And that was kind of like, it was exciting when I got that. That was kind of the end of, I think 2022. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, we're back. We're focusing. We're like, we're back on it. Things are a little different because of the pandemic, but we're doing this. And then that agent kind of felt it wasn't a good match, I don't think.
Were they a total coke addict or what?
I wish it was that interesting. It just kind of felt like they were throwing spaghetti at the wall with me. But like kind of in the craziest ways. And I was like
just getting completely inappropriate auditions.
Yeah, just auditions that I'm like, I just don't like. They're very
like woman 60, Native American, and you were like,
no, that's not me. They sent me like a dancer audition. I've never, no way, ever tried to market myself as that, and would never. And I was, I was trying to keep the communication going to just be like, what can I do?
Yes.
Oh, did you think I was a dancer? Did you, do you have a dancer that like you sent it to me by mistake? Like just really getting no feedback, no open communication.
Right.
So that was kind of like, okay, what do we, so I was like, you know what? We're going to switch. Found this new agent. I'm super excited. Really feel, and it's just commercially, but I really feel like it feels like everything that they send me, I could book.
Oh, good.
Like I'm like,
great.
This is my type. Like this is so great. Like I'm like excited to do the audition. Like, cause commercial auditions, sometimes you're like, they're kind of crazy, but it's like, it's still crazy, but like, like this is
in your zone at least.
This is in my zone.
Yeah,
like I can do this. It's hilarious. Like, let's go. Yeah. So I'm getting really excited with that. And I want to get back into classes.
Yes.
I took some classes like after I graduated, but it's been, a million years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just am looking to like broaden my horizons and get into classes and
just like and then beyond Abbott Elementary. Yeah, great. Okay, great. Okay, so let me ask you this in terms of your life landscape. One of the things I always like to ask is, what are your resources in terms of time, energy, and money? So as a business, right? It's like, well, how much can you invest in all of those areas into going forward? And I always say, like, whatever it is okay. It's just, I like to work with whatever it actually is and not like the pretend version of what you like think it should be. And I also am really against people going into insurmountable amounts of debt for this profession. And depending on your student loan situation, you might already be there. So like, I just ask people, like, where are you? Because some people are like, my family is independently wealthy. And I truly am. I'm so happy for them.
Who are they?
I'm like, oh God, there's so many of them. I mean, really. And I'm like, hey, so awesome.
You're like, great, you can take every class in LA.
No, I'm like, buy your way in. And they're like, that's an option. I'm like, let me tell you. Buy your way in, always on the table.
Yes.
And then also some people are like, I have 5 jobs and 2 kids. And I'm like, okay, well, that is a very different and challenging landscape that requires some authentic investigation about whether or not you have the time, energy, and money to actually pursue this in a professional manner. Yeah. So tell me about your landscape. So if I'm going to ask you on a 1 to 10, you're going to rate your energy level for the pursuit of the career.
10 is high?
Great. 10
And
is
low
wait,
is, and 1 is
and I'm
low.
going to give you, so 10 is like Jessica Day in The New Girl.
Love, okay.
And 1 is Eeyore.
Okay, great. So I feel like right now in this, not like, today also, but just like generally right now, I would say we're like a 5.
Great. Okay. So you're at like a 5 in terms of energy that you
Yes.
have for your career. Okay, fantastic. And then in terms of hours, what do you feel like are the hours you comfortably have available to you in terms of a weekly professional pursuit? Because of your day job, because of life, because of whatever else is going on, what do you feel like is a comfortable amount of hours?
Probably, I don't know hours specifically, but I would say like 2. I usually have like 2 free days a week. And then like maybe there's a third, maybe we have like a fun thing going on that day. But like we would be willing to negotiate, you know?
Yeah, I'm always asked like, you know, because have a life, right? If you're gonna be dating, date, you know, these like these things, right? And if you have your day job, and depending on how many hours those are, but you basically have like 2 days off from your day job and sometimes 3. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. I work weird jobs. So it's, you know,
Talk about that.
You get it.
We're going to get there. Next one. Okay. So what happens is with these 2 to 3 days off, if your energy level is at a 5 for those 2 to 3 days, then what do you feel like is a reasonable and sustainable amount of hours that you can spend in that time on your acting career?
I mean, I would say like I would be happy with 1 day, like obviously not like 24 hours, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Mixed in there.
Sure.
Or 1 day is like, you know, this is the day we go to class. This is the day we self-submit. This is the day we work on our monologues if we're doing theater.
I would say maybe then in total like 8 hours. Like maybe putting in a full day feels good.
Yeah.
Or do you feel like more, or do you feel like less? I want to get your answer.
I feel like right now I'm in a place where I'm like, let's do it.
Okay.
Just in terms of can do the same thing over and over and get the same result. So I'm like,
we got to change something.
We got to change something up.
Yeah.
So procrastination aside, I feel like 8 hours is a good
8 hours for the 3 days off total, or 8 hours each day.
I guess 8 hours each day.
I mean, it's up to you. Yeah. Like, I just want you to like authentically look at it and be honest with yourself about what you feel like you can go for and then also sustain, or even also build up to, because I think a lot of people are like, it's like trying to go to the gym, right? And you're like, I'm going to do it. And then like 3 days later, you're like, blah, right?
No, for sure. I mean, I definitely think it's something I need to work up to because like I said, the procrastination is she is me and I am her.
Great.
But yeah, I mean, I think having like a set amount of time, you know, if I spend an hour a day to work my way up on whatever that is on my craft, like that is doable.
Great. And so we'll just put then how many hours?
Right now, maybe like 5.
Great. 5 hours a week on your acting. And how much of those 5 hours are craft related, and how much of those 5 hours do you feel like are business related?
I mean, I feel like right now I'm in a place where I should go back to like focusing more on the craft. Maybe that's stupid. Maybe that's a bad idea. And it needs to be like 50-50. But I just feel like I haven't done anything in a while. So I'm kind of like just itching to like
get back in,
do the work, do a scene, do a play, do a something.
I mean, ditto, always. And then in terms of your finances, how much money, if any, and if the answer is none, that's totally okay. Because again, I'm really interested in being like honest about where we're at and not like pretending or delusional. I don't love the Delulu life in Los Angeles. Don't love it. Okay, so if we're going to talk financial investment and the answer can be 0, how much money, if any, do you feel comfortable investing in your career in total on like a monthly basis? Do you have a budget? And if not, what would that be?
I don't have one off the top of my head. I do. It is something where I feel like that has been the type A side of me has been struggling with the last several years, where I'm like, oh, I need to take a class, but classes are so expensive. And it's like, I work so hard to make all the, like, you know, to make the money that I do make and like pay the bills and all this stuff. And I still want to save and blah, blah, blah. But I am at a place where I'm like willing to financially like pay for those classes, do those things. I just have to figure out what's worth it, like which class, like, you know what I mean? Like there's so many classes, there's
you don't
so
want to
many,
just like throw it away.
like I want it to be really like worth it and be something that adds to me.
Yeah. And what you're talking about is, in summary, it seems that you have limited resources of time, energy, and money.
Yeah.
That you're not like, huzzah, all the time, energy, and money, let's do this thing. But that your resources are limited, which is true for most actors.
Yeah.
And I think what happens is, instead of looking at the limited resources and then making the most of the limited resources that we have so that we can capitalize on the most growth with the limited resources that we do have.
Yeah.
Most people sort of like, you know, for $250 this weekend, you'll get a 4-hour intensive and we will get you an agent. And you're like, well, that sounds perfect. Amazing. And
that's like, exactly how much money I have in my wallet here.
Exactly, right? And then they're like, hey, does anyone know about this? And then like 4 people will be like, hey, that sounds super sketchy. Don't know about it. Okay, so what I'm hearing from you is at this moment, you're a little overworked and underpaid. That would be correct?
Yes.
Great. One of the things that I think occurs for a lot of people is they want to ignore the fact that they are overworked and underpaid in their like day-to-day life. And then they want to also pretend that that's not the issue that it is in terms of how that affects and impacts your ability to pursue your career. And I think a lot of that is because there's a lot of miscommunication and sell about unrealistic expectations. You know, I remember listening to this podcast and there were like 5 women on and they were all like, I just had a baby and I just produced 5 movies last year. And I was like, amazing. Wow. But also, who's taking care of your baby? And no judgment, but just like, I think that should be a part of the conversation.
Yes, yeah.
Because otherwise, all these women are in this feeling that they're going to have children and their circumstances might be very different. And then they'll be able to just like continue to do blah, blah, blah at this level. Or they're already having children and then they feel bad about themselves.
Because they're not at that level.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I think that there is oftentimes a misrepresentation in an effort to like sell ourselves. And by ourselves, I mean actors who are maybe working and succeeding to like tell their story in a way that negates some of the realities and truths.
Yeah.
And so like, for instance, I always talk about how when I did my self-tape practice that Self-Tape May was born out of, I did it for 2 years, but I always try to be very clear, like that's after I had quit my day job.
Yeah.
Like I had earned a lot through commercials and I had saved a bunch of money and I was like gonna take the leap and I was shit scared.
Yeah.
But I decided that instead of being at work in those hours, then I needed to be at work in those hours. And so that's when my self-tape practice began. But I was not in a position to go to acting class, work my full-time serving job, have my now husband and have that relationship exist, and then have anything else happening in my life and also do 4 self-tapes a week. Like that just... I think that's an unrealistic expectation. And so if you're out there with that unrealistic expectation, I say nay. But wait, Robyn, you adorable fairy goddess queen, I have to interrupt you.
Help me. I need some help.
And now it's time for Listener Questions.
I'm so scared.
This listener question is brought to you by Casting Networks. Casting Networks is where more professional roles are booked than any other casting service. It is used by more than 1,000 of the world's biggest casting directors. Did I have multiple auditions this week from Casting Networks? I sure did. Did I have callbacks? I sure did. Did I book it? Not yet. Jury's still out. We're going to find out. You can submit yourself. You can get some health benefits. Here's the thing. The best thing is actually your ability to post so much video for your special skills, your reels. You can attach the link of what you shot to the resume line. And I just think that's just freaking fantastic. Also, you can track your auditions with Audition Tracker. Also, go get an agent. You can go get an agent through Talent Scout, which is part of your annual premium membership. So use promo code AudreyCN for $65 off a premium annual membership. That's AudreyCN for Casting Networks, not AudreyCN for Chunky Nugget. Like my dog, he's a little chunky nugget. Call us with your questions at 667-ACTORS-70. So call it in.
Hi, Audrey. It's Robyn calling from Los Angeles. I'm just following up with you because I was on a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to let you know that I have been taking some workshops and classes with the Entertainment Community Fund that you recommended to me when I spoke with you on the podcast. And I've been having a great time. There's so many great courses and workshops, and I had absolutely no idea that that was even a thing that the Community Fund did. So I just wanted to thank you again for having me on, and thank you for that amazing recommendation. Bye.
Thank you, Robyn, for calling that in and letting everyone know that I have helpful information. It's not just a theme song. It's not just a podcast title. I just want you to be helped. And you know who else wants you to get help? The Entertainment Community Fund. Free, frizzle free, your favorite price. Free, free, free. Listen, if you want to do networking, just go to the Entertainment Community Fund page. Google Entertainment Community Fund. Click on literally anything. Want more money? Click on it. Want some help with your resume? Click on it. Want a better day job? Click on it. Want some healthcare? Click on it. Do that and go meet people and get free help. Yay! Thanks to everyone at the Entertainment Community Fund who's always so awesome and provides that service.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
So I think if we're overworked and underpaid, that's actually the first place that we need to start.
Yeah.
So how many jobs do you have?
That's such a loaded question for me.
Great. I can't wait.
I feel like at the current moment, like 4 or 5.
Okay.
They're all kind of cohesive, kind of related to each other. So
Okay.
I'm a bartender at a restaurant, and then I also do events. So sometimes I do private and home events. Sometimes I do promo work. Sometimes I do just like, I have companies that I do it for. I have private clients that I do it for. So
all these people, do they know you from the restaurant as a bartender?
No.
Okay.
So there's like the restaurant, and then there's 3 or 4 different event companies.
I see.
And like
Are these
private
like catering
client
companies or?
Some of them are staffing companies. Some
Okay.
of them are catering. Some of them are just private clients.
Human
that I've-
trafficking. Love
Yes,
it.
exactly.
So excited. Great. So how's that working for you?
So the restaurant industry, I feel like part of what put me into like doing events is that the restaurant industry, much like every industry, has drastically changed since the pandemic. And the amount of money that I can make at a restaurant and the time I used to be able to make at a restaurant is like, it went whoop, way down. And so I kind of was like, okay, how else can I use these skills that I've learned at a restaurant to do, I guess, more work and like boost up that money that I'm not making at the restaurant anymore. And that kind of got me into events. And so now I'm trying to, and maybe this is like a terrible idea, but I'm kind of trying to like diversify my money making jobs and have as many of them as possible.
Yeah, great. Now that always works
so that
out.
the money can come in.
The more jobs you have, the easier your life is. That's what they say.
Yes, that is what they say. They do say get 100 jobs. And I'm
100
like,
jobs, none of which pay you correctly.
Five there, you know?
Great.
But yeah, it is the downside of that is with events and those kinds of things is that it's just kind of when it pops up, if you're available. But that's where I am making more of the money. So I try to make myself available to those things when they pop up. So that can be a lot of
I feel
long
like
weeks.
so much like your therapist. I keep taking these notes.
No, I
and
love
I'm
it
like,
so much.
Yes,
I love
tell
it
me
so
more.
much.
Okay, great. Okay, so here's the thing: is it feels to me like what you're saying is that you don't have right now the financial confidence to be able to have the flexibility that you feel is required to really put this career together.
Yes, I think that's probably a fair assessment. I do feel like I'm in therapy. I'm like, it's all coming together right now, right in this moment.
Love it. Okay. So if you do not have the financial confidence to, and I want everyone to know, like, it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Like, some people can have jobs like that and they don't give a fuck. I mean, one of my dearest people that I know, I mean, this guy, shout out to Philippe, this Belgium motherfucker, he like never had an apartment for a day in his life. Like, he would just go from rich person's place in LA to rich person's place in LA, and he would always show up in like a different amazing car, and he had like a job at a bakery at like 4 a.m, and he'd always be like yelling, and then we'd always hear about how he just like got in a like brawl with the owner, of the bakery. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And just like, but this was just like their life, right?
Yeah.
And so, but also then he was acting, and then he would book things, and it's like, so it didn't matter to him.
Yeah.
Like, he was of such a fluid spirit.
Yes.
That none of those realities affected his ability to feel confident in pursuing the professional career.
That's what I was going to say, is I think that my spirit could be a little more fluid. It's the type A side of me that sometimes I'm just like, okay, well, we got to make sure, not that you don't need to make sure your bills are paid, but like also we can relax the reins, not relax the reins, but, spend some of that money that I'm working on.
But if you
on
have
another
it to
pursuit.
spend, I mean, that's the thing, is like, it doesn't sound to me. And this is the thing about financial confidence, is that it's different for every person.
Yeah.
So like, many people quitting their day job because they've earned what they feel like is enough money to pursue acting, right? Like, that's different for many people. For some people, they're like, I have a commercial that ran and I got $15,000.
Bye.
Fuck you, bartending. And some people are literally like, I've got $100,000 and I could never quit my serving job. And so it's just like, whatever that is for any individual person. But I always feel like you either have to change your behavior or you have to change your expectations. And so if you don't feel that you've been successful in like changing your behavior in terms of your desire to feel a sense of financial confidence, right? Then I think you probably need to get more financial confidence in a way that is more sustainable.
Yes.
In order to then have the expectation you could put that money towards the professional pursuit of an acting career.
Yes, I agree with that statement.
Love it. I love it when people
We got
agree.
there.
We did it. Okay, good. So in terms of that, do you have any thoughts? Because when you said I'm kind of trying. And I was like, whenever anyone says kind of trying, I'm always like, oh, I'm kind of trying not to go to the bathroom. And you're like, you're kind of trying.
You're like, so it's not working completely?
Yeah,
or?
like, I'm not really sure where the kind of is coming in. Okay, so do you feel that promotions and events and things like that, or even bartending were to be able to be like, listen, Los Angeles is going to come back to life.
Yeah.
I don't know when that's going to happen, but I'm guessing like another
in
year.
our lifetime, hopefully.
It is going to be like another year and a half after if the last strike was any indication, it's going to be about another year and a half.
Yeah.
And so given that information, can you see yourself for the next 20 years bartending and pursuing acting? And if the answer is no, which is fine, then I think it's good to start thinking about another alternative.
Yes.
There are people that I know, like David, who we had on the podcast, who's like, yeah, no, like whatever, serving. And I'm just like, awesome, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't feel like that's something you can do, then we might need to look at another avenue. So what do you think? Bartending for 20 years?
I think the most honest answer to that is that is what I've been wrestling with that led me to try to do
other things.
Is the answer to that is like no.
Is the answer to that no?
The
or
answer,
you're not sure?
The answer. Here's the thing.
Yeah, tell me.
I like bartending.
Yes.
I find that the longer I do it, and post-pandemic, I did work in a restaurant through the whole pandemic too. So I do want to just put out that has skewed a lot of things also in my brain, is like that was like that was like the long winter in Game of Thrones.
Oh my God,
was
you're
doing
so
that.
right.
So it was like, I think it escalated my patience from doing that. So I like bartending.
Right.
People are hard.
People are hard, and they got really hard.
And they got,
I remember.
It got, and it didn't fully go back. So I think my thing is the job itself, love to do it. I do have fun doing it. I see myself in 20 years still having to do that to pay my bills. I don't know if I will be happy doing that.
Well, and I would argue, like, do you know if you'll be happy doing any job?
No, 100%. Right. But that's why I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
But I do feel like that's been a thought of like, okay, well, I'm trying to build a retirement account, but I just don't. It's going to take a lot. Like, I'm already behind where they say you need to be. Yeah. And so I'm just like, do I see myself being a bartender until I'm 65? Right. If even I can retire then from a money job. No.
Yeah. Wait.
No.
Okay, cool.
20 years, maybe.
40?
I don't know.
Okay, great. Because there's a lot of things about being a bartender that is convenient, right? Like, I loved in the restaurant job, like, that I didn't give a fuck about it. Like, that was nice. That I was like, none of this matters. It's food and drink here, people. We are not saving lives.
Burgers and fries, not saving lives.
Exactly. And so I feel like that's nice. If you can get at a place, you can make really, really good money in a short period of time. Also, you can get fired from one and go to another.
Hop over.
Just like whatever. So you can, it's flexible in that way that you could get a job that shoots in Vancouver, and then you could tell the job that you have to go fuck itself. No hard feelings. And then go do the job in Vancouver and then come back and go work somewhere else, right? Los Angeles is not likely to become a dry town anytime soon. So bartending always a lucrative choice.
It's always there, you know?
Right. So if that's not a thing that you feel like is sustainable, then you do need to start thinking about what could you pursue that would give you the time, energy, and money to also pursue your acting career in the way that you would like to, and how much investment of time, energy, money are you willing to put into that fucking thing? Because that's the other conundrum.
I was like, that is the question that I have been asking.
Because I just want you to know, everyone's at this place where you're at, which is really great to have hopefully some camaraderie in this, right? Everyone's at this place where they feel like, fuck, about these last 4 years. Money is becoming a very clear thing in terms of it not existing for people. And prices keep coming up. And also, as you get older, as I'm sure you're experiencing, you have like weirder financial responsibilities that like occur. And that's super unique. And then you start having also, everyone is experiencing right now this feeling like they need another different job and they don't have the time, energy, money, or patience to just like hop on over to the different job.
Yes.
And they also feel a little bit spoiled by the jobs they've had because the restaurant industry and things like that offer a lot of flexibility. And if they were to go get a different job, their concern is like, well, what am I just going to like roll up to some company and be like, hey, I've got no experience in your business, but I'm amazing.
But I'm really awesome.
Quick learner, and I would like to work from home and have flex hours. And if I have to go shoot a series in Vancouver, I would like to be okay
do
with
that, and you'll still pay me. Thank you. Yes, because it's definitely not the first iteration of like, let's try something else. But I do think that it has been the conundrum is that I have spent now so much time and I can do other things. Like, I have a very office type brain that would be good in that setting, but my resume does not reflect that in a way where someone's going to just take a chance on someone with an acting degree that's only ever been a bartender. Like,
Yeah, this is what everyone's experiencing.
yeah. So yes, just fully yes to everything that you're saying.
So I guess what I would say is, first of all, this needs to be solved. And one of the things that's really great about things being slow over the next, what I anticipate to be at least a year and a half, in the last strikes of 2007, all of my friends got serving jobs again who had like been fortunate enough to not have that, right? Suddenly they were like all back at the restaurant with me, and they didn't quit those jobs until it hit. So the strike was in 2007 and nobody went back really to work until 2010.
Okay.
Like that's when people like started booking again, right? So I anticipate probably the same,
Similar,
at least here. And the good news about that for somebody who is looking at like, wow, what's sustainable? And I'm in this time of my life where I'm like, is that you could take this time in this next year and a half and build something sustainable that can continue to grow and support you, when before maybe you would feel like, but you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out on these opportunities. You're going to miss out on these things. And I also want to say, in terms of like your casting, like you're fully evergreen. Like every year you get older, you know, you obviously have, you're one of those people, and a lot of actors are these people, where I think you could be an incredible personality hire / also be a person who gets shit done.
That's what I keep telling my job. I'm like, I'm the personality hire, but I'm actually like good at my job. So they try to make me do stuff, and I'm like, guys, I told you I'm not here to work. I'm just here to entertain you while you work. Please.
It's so real. So I think that for you, that's something that I would really consider solving. Do you have an idea of how to solve that?
Yes and no.
Okay, give it to me.
Let's say my idea. I'll tell you my idea, and then you tell me yours.
Okay, great.
Deal. Okay. So part of the working in the events thing is something that I've realized I really like enjoy doing that. But it would be something that I would want to do more of like the coordinator role or the planning role instead of like the serving or being the promo person.
Planning, coordinating.
Yes. Okay. The question of that is like the sustainability, like is the time and the money that I would make doing that going to be sustainable to then, like you said, have the energy and the time and the money to pursue something else?
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that.
That does seem like a crossroads career choice, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
So planning and event coordinating in Los Angeles is not something that I feel like you can do and then be like, hey, booked a job.
Yeah.
Peace out, everybody. There might be versions of it that could be more administrative, of coordinating things via computers and phone calls, right? Maybe social media management. Like, that's something that you could do on set or wherever your trajectory might go, right? But I don't think being a planner and coordinator of events, you're going to have to be there for the event.
Yeah.
And also what I feel like I know about rich people is part of why they spend so much money on you is they feel entitled to your time.
Yeah.
So they're like, I've put all this money on you. And then if you're like, I actually can't answer my phone for these 2 hours, they're like, answer your phone. And they're like, I'm paying you this much money. So I don't know that that is going to be sustainable. So if that's something you're feeling like is exciting or doable, then you are really looking like at a crossroads of something like that versus acting, which is where you have put your heart and soul into so far.
Yeah. Which is why I'm just kind of like, I don't know then what the other option, like, because it's not a give up acting for me. It's like not the answer. Yeah.
So then what I would say is you need some help in exploring other means of earning that would be sustainable for you long term.
Yeah.
And try some things out. I encourage before just jumping off the boat, right? Because a lot of people are like, you know what? I'm not going to be a bartender anymore. I'm going to go do sailing in Hawaii. And I'm like, what?
You're like, that's such a leap.
I'm going to go teach sailing in Hawaii. And I'm like, oh. And then they, like 3 months later, they're like, it's really competitive. And I'm like, yeah, I would imagine a lot of people want to teach sailing in Hawaii. They're like, I had no idea. I thought like I was the first person to think about it.
I thought I invented the job.
Right, exactly. So before you like go on to this next journey, I think now that we're older and more mature and understanding like, well, I already have one career that seems overwhelming. Maybe let's choose another one that is a little bit more thoughtfully considered in terms of its short-term gains, short-term investment, long-term gains, long-term investments, and things like that. So do you have anyone that you can talk to about what those possibilities are?
No.
Great. One thing that you should do is reach out to the Entertainment Community Fund.
Okay.
And they have a professional resources group that helps match actors with companies looking to hire actors.
Oh, I love that.
Also, just people in the entertainment industry in general. They're looking for people who want the kinds of jobs that actors or entertainment industry professionals are well suited for. And they understand going in that you'll also need to take acting jobs.
Yeah.
So it's a good marriage of these social workers who are sort of headhunting for you and also your ability to be the right fit. Okay. Which is nice. Okay, so that's one thing.
Never heard of that.
Oh my God, well, here we go.
I mean, I've heard of the entertainment
Audrey
fund,
helps
but
actors.
I know, we're learning.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, so then the next thing that I want you to write down, okay, so they have lots of resources that I want you to be aware of. First of all, they have like in-person resume things.
Oh,
and
that's
like,
awesome.
And like group like workshops for various things to like explore and just consider so that again you're not like going all in on something and then like I'm gonna go get a degree in such and such for $20,000 only to discover that is also a mistake. So I recommend them. I also really recommend, and I've talked about them on the podcast before, which is Abundance Bound, Miyata Udoka. And that is a company started by an actor who found themselves in $80,000 worth of debt through acting over a period of years. And they got themselves out, which is fantastic. Yeah. And then made it their mission to be a source of education, information, and connection to other independent contractor artists who are sort of job to job people. So writers, actors, anyone who's sort of in the gig artistic community. And what's nice about that is you will first get the community of other creatives who are in a similar or have been in a similar boat as you. Yeah. And so you'll get to see people who are like, you know, I decided to go into coding and I did this program for X amount of money and now I'm making $150,000 a year. But like before, they tried out coding to make sure they didn't want to kill themselves, you know? Yeah. And so that to me is another resource that is nice. Now, the Entertainment Community Fund is a free resource. Thank you. And Mia's Abundance Bound is not a free resource, but both are fantastic. And both, I think, are worth. If it were me, I would probably do both. If I'm being honest, because then it's like, let's go. Why not? Yeah. And so I would spend this time and energy and money that you have now of like these 5 hours and also an energy level 5 and an insecurity about money, right? Yeah. And spend that on first. Just getting your money together because it seems like it is important to you. Yeah. And I love that you're thinking about retirement funds because, again, a lot of people, they just don't care. Yeah. And I'm like, great for you. Yeah. Great for you. And whoever's going to take care of you. I know. But, like, great. And I'm like you, I'm not one of them. So so you just have to sort of figure things out and be willing to experiment a little bit. Yeah. And then focus as opposed to kind of trying. Yes. Great. Love it. Yes. Okay, so with that said, one of the things I wanted to talk about was a level 5 of energy plus 5 hours plus not really feeling like you can invest in your career. Does that sound like a recipe for a professional pursuit? No. Great. Okay. we're clear. Okay, so now let's talk about the questions you have for me.
Yes. I wrote them down because I knew that I would immediately forget.
Right.
Okay, so networking feels yucky to me.
It's so funny because you're so great.
That I'm great at talking to people. I'm great at meeting people.
Yes.
Turning that into anything that's helpful is where it gets lost. Like I'm like, what do I do then?
Let's just talk about this. Like, here's a great example of networking. Okay, is I was like, I'm gonna have a meetup.
Yeah.
And then you just literally showed up
Yes.
and wore a crown.
I did.
And I talked to you for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, this girl's outstanding. And then we had photos. And so I looked at the photos and I like zoomed in to get your name and then found you. And then I contacted you. So in terms of networking and trying hard, I'm going to offer that perhaps you don't have to try as hard as you think you do.
Okay, great.
You might actually just need to go to shit and be.
So I do have to leave my house.
You
is the
are
answer
going
to the question.
Have to leave your house, unfortunately, and know
that answers that.
Okay,
I'm gonna write leave
the
house.
And here's what I will say:
Problem
there
solved.
are friends of mine who also hate leaving their house, who are fantastic working actors, great at networking, and also the idea of networking sends them into like this catastrophic anxiety tailspin. But then like we're friends.
Yeah.
And so then I'm just like, hey, you want to do this thing? And then they're usually like, yes, because they know that like I'll handle this part of we'll go.
Yeah.
And then you'll be there and then everyone will love you.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, if you want to do a phone a friend thing with somebody in your life that you know will get you to go.
Yeah.
But you just have to go to things.
Yeah. That's
And
fair. That's a fair. That's
go
a
to
fair
things,
statement.
because here's what I would say is like, I think you're just great. And so if you let people know how great you are just by literally showing up, maybe wear a crown sometimes. I mean, if it's just going to work, why not? Right.
If you're giving me permission, I want this definitely to make the cut, and I will be showing that to my friends.
I am pro crown.
So that I can wear it whenever I want. I'll be like, Audrey told me.
So, next question.
Okay. My next question was headshots.
Yes.
Super specific or no? Because I constantly feel like I get different answers from different people.
Well, that's because everyone is different. Everyone has different career goals and different career experiences.
It doesn't work for me.
I know. It is really hard because people like say things like, do this, definitely don't do that. And I'm like, right, well, what's right for my headshots, based off of all of the things that are me versus your headshots, are of course gonna be different things.
Yeah.
And so anyone who's like giving you the answer, I would say, unless they're really talking to you, looking at your materials in specific and getting to know you in specific, I would say general answers I think can be damaging and often feed into like our dark side, because we're like, if you think that you need headshots like this because that's like you just want like maybe say somebody wants like just to be really sexy all the time, but that is not the headshots I should be getting. But then like they'll go to one thing where somebody's like, yeah, you know, like get a sexy headshot, and they're like, I should get sexy headshots, and then they do like this weird sexy spread and post it all over, and everyone's and like no one will tell them like yikers, right? Yeah. So for you, I looked at your headshots. I think your headshots are great.
Okay.
I mean, there's like one or two that I'm less excited about, but that's pretty good, honestly. Like, I think that you are adorable. I think your personality shows through. I think I can tell your comedy. I can tell your personality, which is also really hard to get across in a headshot session. So I don't know. I like your headshots. I don't think you need to do anything about them.
Okay, fair.
Cool.
I like that.
Save that money.
I like that. And then my other question was, which I know you have stuff on your website too, but just looking at a class to get back out there, like what would because there's so many, so it's like.
I mean, for you, I would say there's a few things. My biggest concern for you is actually that you are still non-union, and let me tell you why. You should be working commercially union. I think that's like a no-brainer, and especially every year that passes, is going to be more and more true.
Okay.
And the amount of money that you would be making in a union commercial could solve a lot of these money problems in like one job.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing.
Okay.
And so like I'm kind of like commercial classes, but more importantly, I actually think for you, you have a sense of freedom and authenticity and brightness and personality that comes across so much at the table and when I met you, and that is being dimmed a little in your tapes.
Okay.
And so I feel like you just need more confidence putting that out there. It's like I can see her in flashes in your tapes. I'm like, that's that. Right? But that's why I watch your tapes. And so, but I actually think for you, if you're going to be in a space where you are going to be changing your professional trajectory in terms of a money-making, funding your acting career profession, I think you should just do a bunch of improv classes, if I'm being honest with you.
Okay, because that's kind of because like I took improv classes in school.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I've been thinking, but I'm like...
And let me tell you why. Because your goals, which is why I started with goals, is this world, the comedy writers, the comedy directors, the comedy actors, all of them are here now.
Yeah.
Like they don't really exist in Chicago anymore. There's like 5 of them in New York City. Everyone's really here, and the community for comedy here is fierce and fantastic. And if I were you, I would do as many classes as they'll allow you to do, because just like imagine how much fun you would have if you went to improv 3 times a week. And the best thing is like you wouldn't have to learn any lines.
Yeah.
And you would talk about networking. I mean, you would make so many great friends and fantastic enemies in every single, it's true.
Fantastic
Improv
enemies.
is real.
I'm scared.
No, it's the best. No, they're fantastic enemies in improv class. And the only thing I say is like, just remember it's fucking improv class, you guys. It's not the end of your career, the beginning of your career. Sometimes people enter improv class and everyone like everything in LA, like gets culty. And so like, just know like you're not in the cult. You're just going to participate in it and just have a good time. And I think in doing that, A, you're going to grow your confidence. B, build your voice, which you already have sitting here with me, but just its authenticity and its ability to come out artistically. It's great for commercials.
Yeah.
And especially the kind of commercials that are still making the biggest money is commercials with stars where they want top improv comedians just to even stand next to them on the happen chance that the star says something to them and they need somebody to improv with them, right? So I think that would be really fun. And if you could afford a class a week and then also maybe like they do like these one-off weekend things, things like that. You'll also meet so many of your favorite future creatives, right? Which you may also be one of. Yeah. And then you can start creating your comedic ensemble at this point. And I think that sounds like you would have a lot of fun. It would be great for your spirit. You would get out of the house, and you would also be networking because you go see shows.
It's all the things.
It's all the things.
It's all the things combined.
Improv, the answer to your life.
The answer to everything. This is brought to you by improv.
Brought to you by improv classes. No, don't join the cult, but do have a blast. And don't take any of it too seriously is the only thing I say. Yeah. Because a lot of people enter improv class and they like, don't make it to level 3. And they're like, that bitch of a teacher, she just didn't know what, she was just jealous because I'm funnier than she is. And women don't support women in comedy. And it's always like,
it's like, oh my gosh.
Calm down.
It's just a class.
It's just like we're doing it, guys. Okay, so next question.
I mean, at one point I was like, theater, LA, what's the deal with that? But it's not really a question. It's just a feeling.
A permanent state.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't worry about theater if you're going to do a bunch of improv.
That's true.
It's a lot of performing, and it's just like I'm telling you, you're going to finish class and you're going to be high as a kite from like how fun and creative everyone was. And I can tell that you're going to be the person that like sits in bed and you'll be like, I was so funny. Like I did this improv and I did that improv and I was
It was
like,
so good.
I'm just like so good. All right. Lastly, but not leastly, which plushie you're going to pick?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I have been staring at one over there, but I haven't seen any of the ones.
Okay, go take a little gander. You get 20 seconds.
Okay, I think I do know which one I want. It's behind you.
Oh my God, you got the plant! I love the plant.
It's so cute, and I saw him when I sat down.
Oh my God, I love him. Okay, what do you want to name him?
I have a friend that always gives me plants, and I always name them like Harry Potter names.
Yeah, great.
So I feel like he has to be Fluffy, right?
Yeah,
the dog.
Yeah. Oh my God, Fluffy the dog. From Harry Potter.
So
Hi,
he has
Fluffy.
multiple little
and look at his little
heads.
fluffy paws too. Oh, those are little fluffy paws. Love that you picked this one. And you'll have to send us a picture of Fluffy's place.
Yes.
In your.
I think he gets to go on the bookshelf, which is
Oh
high
my
praise.
God, that
really
is high praise. Love it. And then before you go, I also wanted to tell you, make sure for you specifically that you are applying for the diversity scholarships at the improv schools.
Okay.
Because get it for free if you can.
Free.
My favorite price, free.
Free.
Okay,
You like
great.
it?
Okay, good. And so I would apply to all of them
Okay.
and just see who is going to give you a scholarship. And if all of them give you scholarships,
Go to all of them. Yeah.
Okay, great. But don't tell them. But
I
do it.
won't say
But fuck
anything.
them. Okay, great. Okay, got it. Social media, where can people follow you?
At Robyn K16. So it's ROBYNK16.
Then spell your name for everyone, all the way so everyone can find you on IMDb.
Okay. Robyn, ROBYN, Keller, KELLER.
Love it. What does success look like to you now as you sit here with me?
I think it just means that you're working and you're enjoying it when you are working.
God, that's great. No, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm not gonna lie. When I was 5, I was like, I'm gonna be famous, and now I'm like, famous sounds actually kind of miserable.
Exhausting, yeah.
But I would just love to be working and enjoying what I'm working on.
Yeah. Yeah, like getting paid enough to enjoy life and not be financially panicked.
Yeah,
And also have a blast.
and have just a good time.
I mean, they're having so much fun on Abbott Elementary.
Oh wait, my gosh,
my
they
gosh.
are. I love them so much.
Really good. All right, next week on Audrey Helps Actors, we have got Liz Ho, the real Elizabeth Ho. She says this. I don't want you to think I'm saying this. This is her tag. Elizabeth Ho, like I'm such a big hoe bag. So there you go. Thank you, Robyn. This episode was edited by Brooke, Becker, and Matthew Patrick Davis. This episode was mixed and mastered by Thomas Snodgrass. Produced by Jesse Lumen, my husband, still so handsome. He gets older and gets better looking. Fuck that guy. Show music by Ari De Niro. Theme song by Aalok Mehta and 108 Hill. As always, don't forget your towel. It is hot out there. Thanks to Casting Networks for sponsoring this episode. I want you to get reps. Go get reps. And go get them with your annual premium membership from Casting Networks, $65 off, castingnetworks.com/Audrey. Use the Talent Scout service and upload your stuff. And just make sure that you have the reels, as we've talked about in Jessica Sherman's episode. Just like show people that you can do stuff. Can you speak French? Put that up there and then put a little video of you speaking fluent French. All right, so go to castingnetworks.com/Audrey and use promo code AudreyCN for $65 off your premium annual membership. That's AudreyCN for Casting Networks, not AudreyCN for Cranky Narwhal. Cranky Narwhal. That little narwhal, he's so upset. I'm cranky. You know who's a cranky narwhal in my life? My dog. You know who's also a cranky narwhal in my life? My husband. He's magical, but he's pretty grumpy.